Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And it's a lovely Tuesday morning. A wet one, that is.
Yeah, I know, and my plants are very happy.
Yes, they are. I mean, every time there's a little bit of rain, and I mentioned this yesterday as well, Gavin, I say I only think of you, Isani, and Dwayne.
Yep.
Because you guys enjoy the wet. Of course, this is the part of the weather where I kind of get uncomfortable. This is the muck that I talk about. I do like that it feels cooler, but I don't like that muckiness. You know, you step out and you're not sure if it's going to be a puddle or if it's going to be a little bit muddy. I don't like that. But there are people that do. And of course, there are benefits to having weather like this. The plants enjoy it. And generally, we like just cooling down the atmosphere. Of course, we're hoping that it's not too hot today. We will find out a little bit later from the National Meteorological Service. But nonetheless, Gav, it's a lovely Tuesday morning. How are you doing?
Yes, it is, and I am doing pretty well. You know, like I said, I was enjoying this morning's rain, and I'm sure I'm going to be complaining in about 2 or 3 weeks when it gets really bad. But, you know, loving it. So any morning, I don't have to get up and water my own plants. It's a good morning for me.
It saves you about a few minutes, I assume. But of course, wherever you guys are, at home or abroad, in your cars, in your homes, having your first cup of coffee like Gav is this morning. I don't have coffee this morning. I'm trying not to be, you know, I don't want to convert over fully, Gav. I've been leaning on the more tired side these few mornings, so I've been relying on caffeine, but I don't want to be converted that easily. I'm a tea gal, and I'll stick beside it.
Well, I am 100% converted, if you want to put it like that. Like, as a matter of fact, this weekend, you know that on Sunday we had in Belize City the planned power outage, which meant that I couldn't use my coffee maker, so I resorted to my own sort of, let's say, MacGyver of a coffee machine. Yes, of a coffee machine. So I had the filter, I boiled water, I put the coffee, and I like strained it through my own filter just so I could have my coffee on Sunday morning. So
how many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Per day, only 2 usually.
Okay.
Because I used to be really bad with that. I used to be like up to like 4, 5, 6 cups every day. Yeah. But and so the thing is, like, I have to restrict myself because like I'm super sensitive to caffeine. Like, it'll keep me up if I have it like in the afternoon. So I have to have it, but only a little bit.
I mean, 4, 5, 6. I hope you at least spend some time in that AA meeting because. No, but of course, I mean, that's your routine, and whatever your routine is as well. I mean, thank you so much for making Open Your Eyes a part of that routine. However you start your morning, right? Of course, there's not much that's buzzing aside from the weather, and we were talking a bit about social media, what was buzzing online last night and even this morning on social media, and that's sports. Do you watch basketball? I'm not very much a sporty or athletic person, but it's hard to ignore the memes, Gav, that's currently online. I mean, even if you don't follow basketball, just because of the creativity and how hilarious these memes are, I had to check in and find out. So, of course, you'd know that the playoffs is almost here, I believe.
Well, it's going on right now.
It's going on. So, see, already you could spot someone that doesn't watch it. But I mean, what I do know is that Lakers lost last night, and I don't know, Gav, you've identified that that you're not very much of a basketball fan, but you do know some stuff. And I immediately asked, you know, are you a fan of Lakers? And of course, your response was?
Absolutely.
And mine is not.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, it's almost like I don't even want to talk about it this morning because, you know, if you guys were watching last night, you'll know that the Lakers lost, you know, their bid for a place in the finals last night. They lost 4 games in a row, which is really painful for me to say out loud. So it looks like the Denver Nuggets will be heading to the finals for the West Coast. We know that tonight's going to be our next exciting game because on the East we have the Celtics and the Miami Heat playing their game 4 tonight. It's been a blowout so far for the Celtics, which I'm happy for as a Lakers fan. I don't want to see the Celtics thrive. But
I want to though. I'll tell you why later.
But we know, yeah. But the basketball has been pretty exciting, and I don't usually follow it that closely. This year, I have been a little bit more than usual, especially because I was wanting to see my Lakers get a bit further. So that we're here now is a bit painful, but you know, we still we can do better next year, I guess.
Why did you support the Lakers? Because you said that you're not so much of a big basketball fan, but you support the Lakers. Why do you support the Lakers?
Family team, man.
Okay.
Like, it's always
because everybody.
I grew up with that, so
Okay.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. It's in the blood, I guess.
Okay, so let me tell you my experience. I mean, I remember watching basketball, but not really knowing what's happening from the big back TV days.
Yep.
And I remember Celtics and Lakers just being the two teams that were like, if you're on either one of them, you'll hate each other. And I didn't know what was happening, but I just remember one Sunday seeing this Lakers game, everyone cheering for this Lakers game, and I looked at this team as my young self thinking, they're just bragging. And I just decided to roll with Celtics.
Yeah.
I have no idea who plays on the team. So since then, I've been a Celtics fan. To this day, I have no idea who's on the team, but I ride with the underdogs, and I'm hoping that Celtics come out on top today. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, the interesting thing is because if the Celtics don't win tonight, it's going to be another blowout for the Miami Heat, and they're going to be going to the finals in a very similar fashion to the Denver Nuggets from the West Side. So it's going to be interesting tonight. I'm sure that a lot of our viewers are going to be watching and really dialed in.
Yeah.
I don't really have a dog in either of this fight, but I'm going to say I hope let's just say I hope that the Heat win, just so that the Celtics don't win.
Really?
Yeah.
So just because you said that, I want to show a meme that has been trending online just because Gavin said he's supporting anything but Celtics right now. There's this hilarious meme that's circulating online where basically the loyal Lakers fans are sticking beside their team. I mean, I'm hoping that we can pull that up. But I just thought it was so hilarious because I think it really speaks to the level of loyalty that these Lakers fans have. I remember, Gavin, doing a story last year in the Lakers community, and there is a person all the way at the back that his entire house is painted.
Yeah, purple and gold.
Like with the Lakers finish. I mean, that's a level of loyalty to a team. I mean, I'll never be able to understand it. I mean, I hope that that I could find some type of thing or movement that I love so much that I'd be able to paint my house the color.
Yeah, well, I think, like, for me, going back to why I guess I'm a fan is because, like I said, I grew up basically like that, and then when I kind of got a little bit older, like young teenage years and stuff, when you really start to like get into stuff, around that time, that was when the Lakers was really successful, and you were able to so it was really easy to like ride that train because they were just winning everything. And if I remember correctly, they had won like 3 finals in a row. That was when I was about, I don't know, 11, 12 years old. So you could imagine at that age going through that. So, you know, that's why I'll always be that Lakers fan at heart, because, you know, I'll always remember that feeling of riding with the successful.
For myself.
Yeah.
I think for myself, Gavin.
Yeah.
I remember watching this team and just thinking, they just seem really bragging. And that's, like I said, I was so young.
Well, if you're the best, wouldn't you be?
You know what? I don't like this conversation. That is the reason why we need to show this meme. And of course, we're getting to a second to pull it up. But I thought it was so hilarious because it's basically SpongeBob holding a cigarette, probably so stressed out and just really tired of riding for a team that, didn't produce.
You know what? Like, it's just we're giving other people a chance.
Okay.
So, you know.
I mean, I also saw this meme where, I know that Steph Curry is a part of the Golden State Warriors, and his team fell out, and they had a photo of him trending where he was, I don't know, at Secret Beach, Mexico. I don't know where he was.
There we go.
There's your team, of course. I imagine that's how a lot of Lakers fans were last night, maybe Gav included, but it's okay. I'm glad to see that you're here refreshed and you're able to put on a brave face.
Yeah, absolutely. We just gotta get through this.
Yeah,
we've been here before,
and
we'll do it again. And
I know though that you are. I mean, I don't know if you call yourself an athlete, but I do know that you play some sport.
Yes.
What do you talk about? What you play?
No, I play tennis. Quite frequently. I usually play about twice a week, and I follow the sport really regularly. So that's another super interesting thing. Next week, actually, one of the big tournaments starts. We're going to see the French Open. So I'm really excited about that, even though last week the 14-time champion Rafael Nadal announced that he's not going to be playing this year because of injury. But it's going to be a great tournament as well. So if you're a tennis fan, I know that you are going to be looking forward to that coming up in the week after next.
Are you good at tennis?
I think, I'm okay. For like an amateur player, I think I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Since I've started to play consistently, so I don't like compete in any of the local tournaments or something. Maybe I feel like now I got like that kind of little bit of confidence to maybe compete. But
so they have local tournaments here in Belize?
Yeah, there's a doubles tournament actually coming up. I think the week after next or next weekend. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot of like little smaller tournaments usually, either here or in Belmopan, and tennis community is. I wouldn't say it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's small. It's small compared to like basketball, but very, very, very passionate and dedicated group of people.
Perhaps that's something that we should focus on a little bit as well, because I think tennis is entertaining too. I mean, I tried playing tennis. I don't want to say I played it, but I remember having the bats and kind of playing over my clothesline as a kid too, and it's not very easy running from one end to the other. I think that's definitely, it requires a lot of stamina. So
yeah, absolutely, stamina and a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
To be able to like get the ball where you want it. I mean, the biggest challenge, I think, especially like if you are an amateur, is once you to get the ball consistently over the net and in the court, I should say, is the biggest challenge. And once you're able to do that, then you kind of build slowly and surely and get a little bit more skillful. And then you can do kind of the fancy shots after.
Well, I look forward to seeing you, taking part in one of the tournaments in the future. Let us know so we could go and cheer you on.
Or you could play doubles with me, and we could go play mixed doubles. One maybe.
I mean, if you're trying to be the underdog, then sure. If you want to be the Celtics, sure. But I mean, I can't promise you a win. But of course, we're gonna, just move into the weather this morning. As we mentioned, we are experiencing some light showers. But there are people that enjoy this type of weather. As I mentioned, it was warm a little bit earlier, and I typically enjoy the warmth, but we get what we have. And of course, we will be getting some more information from the National Meteorological Service. I'm sure they will be with us in a moment on the phone line. But tell us, how are you enjoying the weather? Let us know in the comments. Do you prefer the dry? Do you prefer the wet? Are you anticipating a lot more weather, knowing that we're inching closer to the month of June, where it is expected to get a lot more? Let us know in the comments. Of course, we have the National Meteorological Service with us on the line.
All right, and good morning. We've got our forecaster, Catherine Cumberbatch, on the line. Good morning, Catherine.
Okay, good morning, Sabrina and Gavin. Good morning.
All right, and how are we doing today?
I am doing okay.
All right, great. So let's get into our forecast this morning. What can we expect for our general situation?
Okay, we will be having a light and warm air flow prevailing. Winds will probably be light and variable, warm. So for the next 24 hours, Garvin and Sabrina, you could expect sunny skies with cloudy spells. And the high temperatures are expected to reach 89 along the coast, and very hot temperatures over inland areas. That's in Cayo, in Orange Walk, and Belmopan area. You could expect temperature up to 97, 98 degrees Fahrenheit. And with that, we continue to issue a heat alert. So we are advising residents, especially those areas that I mentioned, are advised to stay hydrated, avoid outdoor activity as much as possible, especially during the afternoon hours. For shower activity, showers will be isolated, and during the afternoon you could expect the chance for an isolated inland afternoon thunderstorm developing in those same inland areas that where you have these very high temperatures.
So it'll maybe provide some relief.
For tonight, you could expect partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping to 81 along the coast, 73 inland, and 68 in the higher elevation. As I said, isolated showers can be expected anywhere across the country during the morning hours, and then this afternoon, the thunderstorms, isolated thunderstorms, develop in the inland areas of the country.
Okay.
Our winds will blow from east to southeast, 5 to 10 knots, very light, and that will be giving us slight seas. They are look for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for similar weather conditions to prevail. As we look at our sargassum forecast, we expect more sargassum moths will continue to drift onto our beaches during the coming days. And in the fire forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires will continue to be high. And that is what I have for you guys for this morning.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
You're welcome, Gavin and Sabrina.
All right.
Bye.
We hope you have a great day.
You know, Gav, one of the worst things is rain with heat.
Oh yeah, I know. So I was feeling for the inland folks this morning after that. You know, especially, so, you know, if you were listening to our forecast, please do heed what our forecaster said. And if you have to be outside, please take every precaution. It's going to get very hot today, especially inland. So please try to stay cool and stay hydrated.
Yeah. Try to stay sheltered from the storm, but also cool from the heat.
Yep.
What an oxymoron. But of course, we are going into our eye opener this morning. After hearing what weather we can expect, we need a little bit of positivity. And of course, our eye opener is taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. We can start fresh in this very moment, not needing to wait for a new day to start anew. When today is not going well, it is tempting to focus on tomorrow as a blank slate with all the possibilities that newness provides. It is true that tomorrow will be a brand new day, but we do not have to wait until tomorrow to start fresh. We can start fresh at any moment, clearing our energy field of any negativity that has accumulated, and call this very moment the beginning of our brand new day. There is something about the sunrise and the first few hours of the morning that makes us feel cleansed and rejuvenated, ready to move forward enthusiastically. As the new day wears on, we lose some of this dynamic energy and the inspiration it provides. This may be why we look forward to tomorrow as providing the possibility of renewal. One simple way to do this is to carry an image or a photograph of the rising sun with us in our wallet or purse. When we feel the need to start fresh, we can take a moment to gaze at the image, allowing its light to enter into our hearts. As we do this, we might say out loud or quietly to ourselves, "I'm ready to let go of the past and start anew." We might visualize anything we want to release leaving us as we exhale. And as we inhale, we can take in the fresh energy of the eastern sun, allowing it to light the way to a brand new day. Very poetic.
And I really like that eye opener.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, as much, you know, this is a really great message. But you know where my mind honestly went, or at least the first example that I thought of with this.
Let's see if we had the same thought.
Was about like starting to exercise or
Yes, it
start
was the
fitness
same
or a
thing.
diet. Yeah, right.
It was the same thing.
That's the same exact thing, because you always hear people say, "I'm going to start next week," or
I'm
"I'm
gonna
going to,"
start
or Monday, exactly. And so, and you know, and people are always like, "No, you should start now, or
Yeah.
start tomorrow, or do something like that." And I
Yeah.
think that, you know, that's just one example of how this kind of what the eye opener is talking about can play out. But really and truly, you know, it does apply to other things. So anytime you feel that you want to start something new, and you feel like you're ready for it, the time is really now.
I mean, definitely, and as you rightly mentioned, exercising, dieting is only one example of how we kind of prolong activities that we may fear to take on. I've heard people say, I prefer to start at the beginning of a month while we're mid-month or just at the start of a
Exactly.
month, you know? But of course, as I mentioned, that really applies to anything. If there's something that you have on your heart that you feel that you want to take on, the right time is now. You'll never be fully ready to take on that activity, whether it's starting, you know, a side business or starting the gym or taking on a diet or just simply embracing a new routine. You can do that right now, right where you are. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to have specific resources to do so. Work with what you have. Work with the energy that you have and build on it. So I do definitely enjoy this eye-opener. I'm not sure that the picture would be helpful to me, where it says put a picture in your wallet or your purse. But I think really, I think more so reading messages like this as often as possible is what would help me and maybe other people as well, because it's that constant inflow of positive messages to remind, you know, the consciousness that it's okay, wherever you are right now, this is where you're supposed to be, and you can start with what you have, with wherever you are. I think it's so important to consume positive information, and that's why I really enjoy the eye-openers every morning. But yeah, whatever it is that you want to take on, do it now. I mean, it also took me back to our Friday morning show. We had William as the co-host, and he was talking about his early morning cycling that he does. And he put me on the spot and said, you know, on Friday when he's hosting again, he wants to know what type of physical activity I have taken on.
Okay, so now you gotta, so have you done anything yet, or should we save it for Friday's show?
We'll save it for Friday.
Yeah,
We'll save it for
but
Friday.
Sabrina, you know, the time to start is now.
The
So
time to start is now.
we can't just be reading these eye openers.
Exactly.
We gotta
I have
live
to
them
set
too.
the example, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I absolutely agree. I'll have something to say by the time William comes on Friday. I still have, what, 3 days?
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Yeah.
But of course, we have a great show lineup this morning. I am looking forward to each of these conversations, Gavin. I mean, we kind of touched on some of it in our newscast last night. So our first discussion this morning will be joined by Her Excellency Marianne Van Steen, the Ambassador of the European Union to Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and the Cayman Islands, to talk to us about the EU in the park and much more.
And for our second conversation, we are going to be joined by representatives from Samsung, and they're going to be talking all about the 2023 Solve for Tomorrow contest. So we are going to be getting all the details about that in our second conversation this morning.
And our final conversation will be bringing a bit of culture and music on the set. We'll be joined by the Lebeja Drummers. If you have been following the newscast, you'd know that the Lebeja Drummers were a part of last week's Belize on Reel. So we got an idea of who they are. And this morning, we're going to be learning a bit more and hopefully getting some drumming. I hope so. I won't tease it, but I hope so. Of course, we have these conversations lined up today, and we're going to start things off with the EU after the break, so don't go away.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, mocadas, chiladas, doradas, delicious for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here.
I think that 27 drop tonight, huh?
But you think so? Tonight I think that 24.
That Belize, you have rice and beans, chips and dip, bolido, and son de la tray. Bolido, that is part of our national identity. And as much as most of we may enjoy it here and there, the bottom line is, one company had 100% ownership of it. And nothing wrong with owning a business, you know. But when it comes to we Bolido, you can't own that and be transparent. You can't report on winnings and sales when you feel like. You can't audit the machine when you feel like. And you definitely can't hide the records under your mattress. But no, that Bolido and Sunday Latch will be for we again. We will be able to enjoy the excitement and profits of it. And that's a double win for us.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
And we are back. And if you're joining us right now, we are just getting our first conversation for this morning started. And as we mentioned before the break, we are now joined in our studio by Her Excellency Marianne Van Steen, who is the Ambassador of the European Union to Belize. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. And as we mentioned before, we are going to be talking a little bit about the work that the ambassador has done, and especially over the past few days, which have been very action-filled, right? For the benefit of some of our viewers, perhaps we can just start by talking a little bit about yourself and the EU's mission in Belize. Just a little bit of an introduction.
Okay, so my name is Marianne Van Steen. It's not the first time I'm in this studio, so I'm very happy to be back. I'm the European Union ambassador to Belize, but unfortunately I do not live here in Belize. I live in Jamaica, where I'm also ambassador to Jamaica and to the Bahamas, and I have responsibility for some other islands in the Caribbean. But I'm always extremely happy to come to Belize, it's one of my favorite countries. And so yeah, here I am. This time I was accompanied by a lot of European Union member state ambassadors. So for those who do not know what is the European Union, we're 27 member states, and I've been able to get, I think, around 8 ambassadors from different member states together with me on this visit, which was really very, very interesting.
Yeah. You know, when a lot of people, when we see that blue flag with the stars, a lot of us don't really know what it represents, particularly as it relates to the partnership with Belize. Could you talk to us about that?
Yes, indeed. When you go through the country, very often you see the blue flag with the yellow stars and financed by the European Union. And I sometimes wonder, like, do the people really know what the European Union is about, who we are, and why are we here partnering with the government of Belize? So we decided this weekend to organize an event instead of what we usually do, which is talking with the government, doing trade, or having our development cooperation. We said we need to involve the people of Belize and tell them, make them understand what we stand for, who we are. So we organized this marvelous, I really, really liked event, EU in the Park. I think many of you were there. We had lots of families, small children attending. And the idea is to pass the message that the European Union is a partner of this country. Of course, I told you we're 27 countries, 450 million people, so that is quite huge. But in the world we live today, we do need partners all over the world. So we're reaching out to Belize, and we have really found a very important going beyond partnership, I mean a friendship here. So that's why we're coming here more and more, in order, to explain to the Belizean citizens who we are, what we stand for, and very happy to hear that the Belizean government and the Belizean people share those same values and principles.
Yeah. Let's talk about the relationship that Belize has with the European Union. What are ways that we benefit from being partners with each other?
Well, traditionally, we came here, I think, only a couple of years after the independence of Belize to help the country in its path towards development. And so we came in mainly as a donor, an important donor, and I think we still are the most important donor in order to help Belize to fulfill its own goals. Of course, all towards trying to fulfill the very ambitious sustainable development goals, which you may have heard of. So that was our main role in the very beginning. But this has evolved over time. I really think it's extremely important to say that we're not just here to hand out some funds or some cooperation. Of course it is important, and we will continue to do so. But more important, I think, is that we have now built up a political partnership. And what does that mean? That means that when we talk to each other, we talk about what's happening in the world, and we try to see how we can unite forces whenever there are global challenges that we face and that we need each other. Very easy to understand example is climate change. We all know that the small island developing states, and Belize is one of those, is suffering very much from natural disasters. we do know that it has not been Belize who has brought this about. I mean, the pollution was done way before, and mainly by countries in the north and in the European Union. So we try to come together and to see how we can assist the country to prevent the impact of those disasters, but also to see how we can mitigate the entire world together to make sure that this climate change is not continuing and destroying the planet.
Yeah.
So we talk with Belize here, we help, but we also talk in multilateral fora, and it's extremely important that when the European Union tries to limit, greenhouse gas emissions, that we don't do that on our own, and we really find an ally in Belize when we talk at multilateral level in order to, agree collectively on what to do.
Yeah.
So that's one example, but there are many, many other examples on the political level. Of course, the invasion of Russia in Ukraine is for us extremely important. Cannot repeat it enough that this is for us a big shock. I mean, everything we stand for is peace, and after the Second World War, we actually started with our European Union concept, our regional integration, with the main objective would be that we would never have peace again on our continent. Now we do not have it between the European Union member states, but at our doorstep. So that is it's very impacting and it's very scaring.
Yeah.
And so we look towards other partners in the world to condemn that invasion of the territorial integrity of another country. But there are many, many other things on which we talk, and maybe but yesterday we had a very important political dialogue with the government. We normally do that once a year, and I'm not sure you realize that this time we did it earlier than foreseen. Because we always come here in the month of September when there are so-called diplomatic days, when all the non-resident ambassadors come here and we celebrate together with you the independence of the country. So we decided this time, first of all, we want to come at least twice a year. Many of the non-resident ambassadors very happy to come another time. I normally come a little bit more often, fortunately, because I also have a team here. But we decided to do it in the middle of the year, in May and not in September. Also to have more time and to go into more detail in all the subjects that are on the table of our partnership. So we did that yesterday.
What was the expectation of the meeting prior, and do you feel confident coming out of it?
Very confident in, I've been ambassador to this country for 2 years and a half. Actually, I think when this new government came in, and I have to say I have always been very impressed by the frankness, the openness, the constructiveness of this kind of dialogue. And I must say yesterday again, I think all of us, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Belize and his team, and then I was not on my own, I was accompanied by many European Union member state ambassadors. We were all coming out and saying this was a very frank and open and constructive dialogue. It's not like you say something and then you have to think what was actually meant. It was very open, it was very clear, and I think it confirmed that really we are, friends, partners, allies, and we believe in the same things. So it was very good.
And what is the experience like when all of the other member state ambassadors are here together? Is there sort of like a common agenda, or are we able to, come together to speak on things which affect all member states or individuals, and all things like that are discussed at that level?
Yes, actually, we normally, I would speak on behalf of the European Union. But since we are all very much on the same line, and we have now been seeing each other for the last couple of years, so we do know what are the interests of everyone, and they're very much the same. So yesterday it was actually, what was really nice in our dialogue, it was not just me speaking on behalf of everyone, but passing the floor to the other ambassadors. And we're all very much on the same line. I think the issues that I mentioned, climate change, the political issue of the invasion of Russia into Ukraine. We also discussed Haiti, which is more, the challenge here in the region, where it is also important that the international community look looks at what is happening and, you know, sit together and try to see what we can do. There's so many issues, and I mean, surely between the European Union member state ambassadors, we're all on the same line. Some have development cooperation with the country, which goes on top of the development cooperation of the European Union. Of course, all the development cooperation of the European Union is from the member states. I mean, so it was very good to exchange with them and to see how we can further build that relationship.
I want to go back a little bit to what you mentioned about, you know, your visit here in Belize. Particularly, you guys visited the adjacency zone that borders Guatemala and Belize, and you would, you know, be aware of our issue of the territorial claim between Guatemala and Belize, and how we have pursued the ICJ to be the mediator of, you know, really defining what would be the outcome of that. Talk to us about the relevance of your visit to the adjacency zone and how the European Union really hoped to be a part of resolving that.
As I told you, I mean, we're all about peace because that's why we were created. Of course, there were some other positive sides to our integration, but peace is really very important. So when we see that there are two countries that do not have a defined border, that is not that it's a war, but it's an invitation for conflicts or incidents. And so we've been following that not just since now, it's quite a while. And we have decided that it's worth to try to help both Belize and Guatemala to avoid any type of conflicts. So we are supporting a mission of the OAS, I mean financially, to do a very important job there. I mean, I think it was very important to bring also the EU member state ambassadors with me. I had been there to see what they're doing and to bring the people of Guatemala and Belize together to build confidence between them. I mean, the mission of the OAS has other tasks as well, but I mean, just to see how people from both sides, I mean, they do not have a problem. I mean, they work together, they have classes together, they do sport together, cultural activities. So that was extremely interesting. But maybe before all that, saying that the European Union very much appreciates the fact that both governments and then afterwards the citizens of both countries have decided to bring this matter to the International Court of Justice. Because at the end of the day, I mean, there needs to be a border, and there is no border now. So we're all looking forward for the International Court of Justice at some point to decide where that border is going to be. And we very much hope that both countries will also accept the judgment of that Court of Justice. So very important. I mean, I think there are very few countries in the world where you still have this kind of, you know, adjacency zones without really knowing which part belongs to which country. And that is always a potential for conflict. So that's why the European Union is supporting the work of the OAS mission there, and that's why I was also very happy to be accompanied by my colleagues, so we see why we are doing it. And I think we came out there thinking like, wow, this is really important, and very happy that we can support there.
Yeah.
And when you have sort of bilateral dialogues like yesterday and other things, are we also able to come to, let's say, maybe agreements or something, or on projects or things that looking forward that perhaps we hope to see some results from in the future as well?
In terms of projects and programs, what we do during the annual dialogue is to say, okay, we have jointly agreed to do ABC.
Yeah.
But we think in the future maybe we can work also on other things. but the actual work is on a day-to-day basis, because it is really a lot of things that we're doing here in the country, and that's why even if I'm not a resident ambassador, I have a team here. So they are on a daily basis working with the authorities of the government of Belize, but not only with the authorities, also with civil society, to see, you know, where are the needs and where can we come in. We will never replace, and the government has its responsibilities, and also the civil society, they have their objectives, but we can try to find out where we can be of added value, and that is what we do. So it is a day-to-day job. And once a year, we will, of course, come to the table and talk at the highest level and say, like, okay, we're very happy that we're doing this. Maybe there is a problem on this. Maybe we should, these kind of things. But, of course, we only have, like, 1 or 2 hours to talk about these things. So it is a lot more work than that.
Yeah. And I love that you touched on the fact that, yes, you speak to high personnel, but you also take it down to civil society as well. And I think that that was what EU in the Park really represents.
Yes.
Could you talk about that? The turnout, what was the objective of EU in the Park, and do you feel that you met the goal?
It was the first time we did something like this, and I'm extremely happy to, you know, have seen the enthusiasm. So many Belizeans who came to that event. So the idea was really, you know, this thing about we have a blue flag, yellow stars. You see it's, you know, in many, many places throughout the country, but people have no idea what the European Union is. And where do you start? You start, you know, when you really want to, you know, explain something, you start with children. No? So we thought it was going to be nice to have a family event, and that's what it turned out to be. There were plenty of families with young children, older children, and there were so many activities. We had about 10 booths. 3 member states had their own booth, which was really nice. We had one of France, we had one of Germany, one of the Netherlands, and then of course our implementing partners. Like when we support the field of energy or climate change, we need to find someone who has expertise on the ground. So there were many UN agencies with whom we work who had a booth, and the idea was that anyone, children, I mean young or old, parents, they could just go around and, you know, get to know a little bit about the EU. For instance, I think the emphasis was a lot on climate change. I think the German booth was really interesting, where they were actually explaining what do we do with plastic. I mean, you drink your bottle and, you know, that little top, you know what happens with it? It ends up in the ocean. It will ruin our planet. So they were actually explaining in a very ludic way to children or to whomever wanted to know, is that this is not just something that, I mean, we should do something with it. No, we should not. So that was interesting. We had a booth together with the Ministry of Public Utilities on energy. We actually have a project where we try to introduce the more frequent use of LED bulbs, because they're much better for the environment. So it was the launch of a program by which we will start to offer, I think, 9,000 light bulbs. Of course, that is just the beginning, but it's kind of more awareness raising to tell people, listen, use a LED bulb, because at the end of the month you will pay less for electricity and it will be better for the planet. So that was another booth. I mean, there were plenty of those where people could just go around and start to understand why we do which projects and how do we assist the government. But that was not everything. We had a very nice concert from a very famous Belizean singer,
Entertainment as well.
There were 2 movies which were really, really fun, because with the ambassadors we were there, but we were thinking like we do the official tour and then we go, but then the movies were so much fun, so we stayed. And it was just like a very relaxed atmosphere. If we reached the objective, I think we did. I think we had more people than we had expected. It's very difficult to count because people come and go, but we think probably we had around 500-600 people who came. So that was really a success. There was also a competition before this event, so we announced the winners. It was just a very nice family kind of relaxed, getting together, getting to know each other event, and we're very happy and we hope to do it again next year.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, if we're going to do it again.
I hope so. I really hope so. I think everyone liked it, so that will, motivate us to do it again.
And I think that that's also a good opportunity for cultural exchange as well, which is part of the bilateral relationship with the EU, right?
I was so impressed by the creativity here. I mean, with the competition that we did, of course, the results, some of them were just amazing. But also you see those kids and painting, and there was an art class, there were yoga classes, there were dance classes. I was extremely happy as well to see that our European hymn, which is Ode to Joy, the 9th Symphony of Beethoven, was interpreted by a group of young dancers. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it was just impressive. I just loved it. I'm going to send it to Brussels and I'm going to show to our headquarters how wonderful this was interpreted by Belizean dancers. Very beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that you mentioned you had a political dialogue with the Minister of Foreign Affairs as well as the Deputy Prime Minister and Prime Minister. Are you able to disclose any of the new projects that you would love to see take place here in Belize in the future?
For the future, we're very much looking at the south of the country and at the western border. I think you probably all know that the south of the country, probably there have been lesser investments in all kinds of, basic services to communities. That may have to do with the fact that there was not really a border, and there are claims from another country on this country, and maybe it has been a little bit underinvested. So that is where we're going to look at to see if we can help small communities to actually build up, better livelihoods. I think we're going to work in agriculture, we're going to work with local development plans and trying to, get many of the people who live there out of poverty. I think that's one of our main objectives. And then, of course, at the border, we all know that this judgment is going to come. Of course, we are now providing assistance to this mission that is there to, prevent conflict. Confidence building measures, but at the end of the day, there will need to be a border, there will need to be border posts, border management. How is all of this going to work? So we have discussed this with the government, and we think it would be a good idea that if we in one way or the other we could support that in the future. And then there was one more thing which I really think is important. It's a bit more difficult to explain, but when you look in the past, all the development cooperation that we've given to countries like Belize, but plenty other countries, the results are good, but they could be better. I think we all have to admit that just giving a grant is not always going to solve, the big challenges the countries have. So we're trying to go one step further, because what a country really needs is a lot of money, and the grants
Every country
are
needs
limited.
a lot of money.
So what do you need? You need loans, you need investments. And we've been speaking with the government. The government is really trying to attract investments, which is good. But I think not only this country, in general, I mean, in order to have investments that are focusing, that are bringing the country closer to fulfill the sustainable development goals, like an investment in renewable energy, for instance. These are the kind of investments that we would like to push a little bit, to give an incentive for private sector to come into Belize and to say, I'm going to invest in Belize in that particular sector. And in order to push them a little bit, we would like to see if we can, for instance, guarantee the loans, or provide some extra grants to top up a loan. This kind of, it's a new concept, but I think leveraging investments may have, in the long run, more impact than small grants. So we're working on that.
Yeah. So I mean, when you say renewable energy, I would imagine that has to do with projects that we are slowly bringing on, like our electric mobile vehicles. We receive donations from, I believe, you guys on the electric buses as well.
Indeed.
So we're hoping to launch that pretty soon. So is it something where we implement new projects like that, that we would have the
Yes.
possibility of getting access to loans.
Yes, that is exactly it. The Belizean government has set a very ambitious target to replace traditional, fossil fuels by renewable energies, and of course we very much like that idea, because this is what we all should do if we want to save our planet. So we have started to work a lot on energy, providing grids to some communities who didn't even have access to electricity. We're still, working on that, but it is quite advanced to work. The electric buses, we will finance a number of electric buses, but just to get it going. We're not going to be able to finance all the electric vehicles that will need to come into the country, but we would like to give it a push. And indeed now it's still about grants, but in the future, if there are opportunities to incentivize a loan, so it can be private sector, it can be public sector, but we think it's very important that investments are undertaken in areas like renewable energy.
Yeah.
And I imagine that when you and your colleagues come to Belize for trips like this, seeing the results of some of past agreements or seeing the areas of need is also much more. It's made much more apparent, and
Yes.
Right?
That is so true. It's so important to be on the ground and to see it, because why are we not sitting all in Brussels or in our capital? So we're out here to see. It is a pity, and I know that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in case he's watching, will say, hey, we need to have an embassy of the European Union or any of the member states here on the ground, and thus far we do not have that, which is indeed very sad. I very much hope that in the future we could do that, because it's important to be here. But that's why I am trying to, organize these visits, not only once a year, but if possible 2 or 3 times a year, so that we can actually see, what is happening and how are the funds used. Is it to the benefit of the Belizean people, and how can we build on this partnership in the future? So yes, very important to come here, and not only important, it's also very nice. I think we were extremely happy. I think everyone loves this country. It is beautiful. It has so much potential. So you can just feel the good vibes.
The good vibes. I love it. Well, do you have any last words as it relates to the relationship with the OAS and Belize?
With the OAS?
Sorry, with the EU.
Okay. OAS really important, by the way, because the mission we visited, extremely important. Very, very happy about the work you do. What else can I say? Well, please try to follow us on EU-Belize on Facebook, because we're now quite active on that Facebook. So everything that we organize is published on that Facebook page. So I would invite everyone who's interested to know what the European Union is doing here in the country to follow our Facebook page. And for the rest, I'm hoping to be back here very soon.
Yes, we hope to see you maybe in September to celebrate. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see.
For sure. We'll be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Samsung to talk about tomorrow's contest. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
I think that 27 drop tonight now.
But you think so? Tonight I think that the 24.
Now, Belize, you have rice and beans, chips and dip, bolido, and son de la tray. Bolido, that is part of our national identity. And as much as most of we may enjoy it here and there, the bottom line is, one company had 100% ownership of it. And nothing wrong with owning a business, you know. But when it comes to we bolido, you can't own that and be transparent. You can't report on winnings and sales when you feel like. You can't audit the machine when you feel like. And you definitely can't hide the records under your mattress. But no, that bolido and Sunday Latch will be for we again. We will be able to enjoy the excitement and profits of it. And that's a double win for us.
I'm most pleased to report that to the nation that we have been able to secure roughly $90 million for the construction of a new 150-bed modern national referral tertiary care hospital in Belize. Given the vulnerability of KHMH to hurricanes and floods, the strategic placement of this hospital in Bavapan represents an important part of our climate resiliency building strategy in the provision of health care.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer@channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's daily obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
The same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Cari Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE-Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
Welcome back. We are starting our second segment of this morning, and we are joined by representatives of Samsung to talk to us about the 2023 Solve for Tomorrow contest. We have with us on Zoom Chris Martinez, and he is the Glasswing International, an NGO in charge of promoting the contest in the region, as well as Maria Fernanda Hernandez, the Samsung Corporate Citizen Manager here in Belize. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Yes, happy to have you guys here with us on Zoom. So let's get things started. We want to talk about the 2023 Solve for Tomorrow contest. What is the contest and how is SMART's involvement in the process?
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Solve for Tomorrow is it's an initiative from Samsung that promotes STEM for problem solving. So we've been executing this program since 2014. So this is the 10th anniversary. And this is a program for students from public high schools between 15 and 18 years old. So we invite them to submit ideas that could benefit their communities using STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
And so you said that this is the 10th year that you've been doing it. Can you talk a little bit about some of the past winners and what are some of the problems that they have been able to come up with solutions for?
Yes, I will talk about the history and I will give the floor to Chris for some of the examples. So it's a good moment to announce that we've been expanding our execution year by year. This is a program that started in one country only, in Panama, and then in the pandemic, we expanded to 9 countries, and this year to 11 countries. So we have
All right, we seemingly have some technical difficulties there. Okay, we are back on.
Okay, I think we've still got Chris.
Yeah,
so
Chris,
you can pick up from there.
Okay, so yeah, as she was saying, it's a content that originally started in Panama, and it has continually expanded. Now we are operating the contest all the way from Guatemala to Panama. Then we continue with Ecuador, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and this year, for the very first time, we have invited both Barbados and Belize, which are our first 2 English-speaking countries within the region. So this is a great opportunity now for students from ages 15 to 18 and grades 8 or 9 to 12th grade, I believe, in Belize, to join this initiative. Basically, like Maria Fernanda mentioned before, Solve for Tomorrow, what it aims is to give these kids the opportunity to identify a problem within their community, whether it's the school, whether it's the neighborhood, the town, the city, the entire country, the region, and through STEM, come up with a solution. So we have had so many initiatives throughout these years. For example, one of the finalists from last year was from Venezuela. They live in the island of Margarita. And one of the main issues in the island is electricity. They have a lot of shutdowns because of lack of electricity. So these kids came up with an idea of creating, of generating energy through waves. This is not something new. This has happened before, but the process that they implemented was the new innovation within this idea. So there are many ideas or videos that you can see from past participants and finalists in the region that you can see on our website, which is solvefortomorrowlatin.com. And you can find us in YouTube, you can find us in Instagram, in TikTok, in Twitter, in Facebook. It's all at solvefortomorrowlatin.com. And you can see all the videos from all of our participants from the previous years, many ideas. So you are all welcome. And this, for me, it's really interesting to be here with you this morning. I was 3 weeks ago in Belize. I had a meeting with the Ministry of Education, who are the Department of Science and Technology, who greatly received this program and joined the rest of the ministries of education in the region to promote it within Belizean schools. And there was an ICT event during my visit that I had the opportunity to join as well. And I met with great teachers from different high schools within the country. And they are now generating ideas, brainstorming, and putting ideas together to participate and represent Belize in this regional contest.
When we think about STEM, it's always the subjects that are more intimidating to touch on. How would you encourage, I mean, aside from the contestants, of course, that would be interested in a contest like this, but how would you encourage young people to have an interest in STEM?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good.
So you can answer that question, Martha. How would you encourage kids to actually join STEM? Because I already talked about the contest.
Yeah, what the actual approach that Samson has is to give students a methodology, you know, an easy approach of learning while doing a project, and also stimulating soft skills as teamwork, leadership, assertive communication. So it's a very integrated approach that we give to them, so they don't feel intimidated by STEM, because what we give them is the tools, design thinking, lean canvas, in which they come with an idea. They are timid, they're not sure, but once they go through the whole process of trainings and mentoring, they really come up with an entire solution and a prototype, a proper pitch, and also a great experience for them, new friends. And I think this is what they get out of Solve for Tomorrow.
Yeah. And I mean, I really want to touch on how far this contest has been in existence since 2014. How are ways that you guys try to make it better every year?
Yeah, I believe that the training factor, it's important, because each year we add more mentoring, more training on design thinking. It's not only the prize, it's the experience. And also by expanding to new countries, we give them the opportunity, the experience to interact with teachers, students from different cultures, and that gives them a really insightful and really deep experience. So this is what we do, not only believe that Solve for Tomorrow is a contest, it's a program, because it lasts 7 months that we go through with the students, giving them all the tools they need to make their ideas a possible solution.
And now,
like Maria Fernanda just mentioned, it's a program. It starts with an initial idea that they have to submit in the website. And then that idea, we will be selecting on January. It will the enrollment period closes on June 23rd. From that point on, we will be selecting 10 ideas per country. Last year, we received nearly 4,000 ideas within 9 countries. So we are expecting a lot more ideas registered this year now that we have 11 countries participating. And so once we close the enrollment period, which is June 23rd, there's another group of staff from Samson and Glassman that will be selecting the best 10 ideas within the countries. And that's where the program begins, because we will switch that initial idea into a scientific proposal.
Oh.
And we will accompany those 10 best ideas from each country in that process. So we will mentor them. There's our staff from Samson who will be volunteering, who will join the process as well, and who will be assigned to a specific team in each country to also be a guidance to them in the process. So it's a long process that ends in October this year. And then at that point in time, we should have 3 finalists who will be traveling to a country that we have not yet determined, but it will be a presence final in which the final teams will be traveling and have this full experience, like Maria Fernanda mentioned, of meeting other partners from different countries, other kids, and getting together and having a great experience. So it's a long-term process. It's not a short-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to join Solve for Tomorrow, you have to have this in mind. So I think you wanted to mention something or ask something.
And in terms of the ideas that the applicants can submit, is it sort of open-ended and any problem, or are there any like specific themes or things that that Samsung will be looking at?
Well, we try to give them space to be creative. Of course, we give them examples, to focus on environment, on education and science. But we receive, that the sky is the limit. We really believe in the power of creativity. So any idea is valid as long as it has a scientific base. So they could, they have come with ideas regarding medical devices, devices and apps for education, for online education, for the education continuity during the pandemic. They also come up with a lot of environmental initiatives, recycling, and ideas to generate energy. We had a lot of ideas regarding, a better, environments in schools to avoid bullying, to support disabled people with disabilities. So it's really an integrated approach.
Mm-hmm. I really want to touch further into the contest itself. And I love that you mentioned that this is only the first phase. It's really a drawn out process. And I can really see the way that Samsung is molding future inventors or innovative thinkers. But in terms of the contest itself, is it sort of like a proposal that they're creating when it comes to solving this problem?
Yeah, the initial approach is an idea, okay, with the possible outcomes, okay? What will be the impact and what's the scientific base? After that, they start building up from there into a feasible prototype, which they have to build the whole business proposal. So when they defend their ideas with the jury, they took everything into account, budget, feasibility, extended impact, and of course, STEM implementation and creativity and innovation.
Okay. Let's talk about prizes. What do you win when you win the 2023 Solve for Tomorrow contest?
Okay, I will mention one part and then please can complement. In each phase, all groups have different prizes. in terms of micro contests. They win Samsung products. Of course, we give them the tools when they go through the finalist phase. Each teacher gets a tablet. They all get some devices so they can build up and create their videos, their prototypes. And at the end, of course, they get some Samsung devices for the school that won the contest. Also for the teachers and the students, they get over 100 hours of trainings and mentoring. And at the end, of course, the whole experience to travel to a new country, spend around 4 to 5 days, having, a beautiful experience, not only meeting their friends, but also, getting to know new countries, cultures, and then everything wraps up in the final event.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right, and even though we showed a little bit on our screen just now, maybe for those of our viewers who maybe missed it, can you talk a little bit about the eligibility requirements for the people who are interested? Like, do you have to be in a group, or can it be one person? Do you have to go through a school? How does that aspect work?
Well, it's very simple if you want to participate. The first thing is you have to be enrolled in a public school system, and you have to be in grade 9 to 12 in Belize's case, and you have to be in the public system. That's basically the main requirement. In order to participate, you can enroll at this point. You can visit solvefortomorrow.latin.com, and you can register as a single individual person, or you can register as a group. Nevertheless, I have to mention this. If the student's idea who register as an individual gets selected as the best 10 ideas, that they have to form a group of a minimum participation of 3 students and a teacher, or a maximum of 5 students and a teacher. Those are the basic requirements to participate. It's really, really simple. Once you visit the website, there are 6 steps that you will have to follow. The first one is to provide your telephone number, cellular phone number, where we should contact you, your email, your name and last name, and basic information about the other participants within your group. If you don't have a team form at this point, it doesn't matter. You can register as a single individual person at this point. But again, if you are selected within the best 10 ideas of the countries, you will have a 3-day period once you are notified to actually form a team of either minimum 3 students, maximum 5, plus a teacher. So those are the basic requirements to join. And we invite every single student who are enrolled in the public system to join this initiative in Belize. And I am always welcome to guide you through the process. And then you can share my information at any point in time, and we'll be more than glad to help anyone who needs any help in Belize to join and be registered.
Chris and Maria, I just want to say, for me, I just think that a project like this really speaks to the power of the mind, of young minds as well. We're molding future inventors, young innovative thinkers, as I mentioned. And, the age range on its own, 15 to 18, really speaks to that. Could you talk about, just the idea of having an imagination and how you could use that to be an inventor, especially incorporating STEM, the science, technology, engineering, art, math, into solving problems for everyone and in the future?
I believe that this program is very powerful. We've seen how students change throughout the process. We have many success cases of students that once they finish the program, then they get a scholarship in another country, because these students have that seed of creativity. They want to be game changers. So you really see a specific profile of students that want to make a difference. So it's really fulfilling to be part of this whole initiative in which they already have the spark, they have the creativity, they have the ideas, and to be able to support them with the methodology is really fulfilling to see how the outcome goes. Also, we give them a lot of visibility regionally. And after they go through this process, they get, attention from media, for governments, for NGOs, for local institutions, and they really raise awareness for other students to become game changers.
Yeah. All right, wonderful. Well, do you guys have any last words, Chris, Maria, as it relates to inviting persons that are interested in STEM and in being a part of this contest?
Well, I would like to say that don't be shy. All ideas are important. All students have something to say. We can all learn from you. And this is a great experience. If you have something to say, please you don't miss out on anything. Just by signing in, you're gaining everything. So we invite all students from Belize to join us in the 10th anniversary of Sulphur Tomorrow. And you have until June 23rd to do so.
Wonderful. And Chris?
And I just wanted to say, if there's any school who's watching this, any school teacher and wants to have a Zoom session where we can share more information about the contest, we are more than welcome to join with you. Today I'm having a lot of sessions with Belize schools during the day, so as well as tomorrow, sharing the information and doing the registration process. So I'm more than happy to join anyone who is willing to make that first step in that change process. So I'm happy to be part of this and really happy that Belize is joining this initiative. So we're here for you.
And what's the best way to get in contact with you or to find out more information about the contest?
If you want to have more information about the contest, there is a number in the website. It's a WhatsApp number. All you have to do is click on that website icon, and immediately we will be in touch with you.
Okay.
As long as you go into www.sulphurtomorrowlatin.com, you see the WhatsApp icon, and just click on it, and we will be more than happy to join us. And you can ask directly to have a Zoom session with Chris Martinez, and I will be more than happy to help.
Okay,
wonderful,
perfect.
wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing what Belizean students submit to the competition. I can't wait to hear how our young minds are hoping to shape the future here in Belize and the rest of the world. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be joined by the Lebeja drummers. Don't go away.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergis-Key and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Welcome back. We are taking a bit of a shift in our third segment. Of course, we did tease that we will be having the Lebeja drummers, but instead, of course, it's Tuesday. So you know what that means, Gavin? It's Transformative Tuesday. We have with us a lovely video by Annlyn Apollonio, and she will be sharing the story, a very interesting one, of a young pageant girl that also has a pretty unique background herself. We're going to go to that video now, and of course, we'll be having a conversation about it after.
Good morning, Belize. I'm sure you've heard the song Old MacDonald Had a Farm, which introduced us to a wide array of animals with unique songs bringing it to life. This week's Transformative Living is all about the bonds nurtured by Old Mac Angus on Mr. Ball Cattle Farm, a generational farm spanning 125 acres and a home away from home to our Miss World Belize 2022, Elise Vernon. Along with her mother, these city girls made the transition from what they refer to as ballpoint pen to cow pen. With it came holistic transformation and a close-knit mother-daughter bond, which was ultimately the foundation for her queenly ambitions and even her future endeavors. Prompted by a spiritual transformation, Gayon Vernon embraced farm life as a new beginning, viewing challenges as learning experiences. For her daughter, Elise Gayon Vernon, her mother's strength was the pillar for an easy transition to her new life.
My spiritual change brought me new beginnings. So this was like a new beginning for me, right? I came up here and challenges was just learning. My hardest thing was to drive a trailer, to reverse the trailer, to park the trailer. You know, that was one of my hardest things. But when my dad had the stroke and then I had to get behind that wheel and deal with the trailer, I did it, you know. So not until you're face on and need to do it, then it happens.
Had I seen it harder on her, then maybe I would have thought it was harder, but seeing her strength come through all the different things that she had to do, that made it easy for me as well. Seeing that, you know what, if she can do it, so can I. And so it wasn't hard for me either.
Elise Gayon's birth defied medical reports. As her mother's God-given miracle, they have developed a special mother-daughter bond rooted in mutual respect, open communication, and friendship.
Like, I understand how I need to respect my mom. And so with that respect comes a different kind of friendship, because I'm not gonna look for a way to disrespect her. I want to be her friend as well. And so we spend time together, and that's something that I'll treasure forever.
We enjoy one another company, believe it or not. Believe it or not, we enjoy one another company. I respect her, she respects me as a mother, but we're friends. The communication room is always open. She pull into my bed and she would talk about school or talk about what's going on or what she didn't like or who did her wrong, or, you know, and then I'm the one there to advise and guide her and, you know, tell her, no, don't worry, you be you. You be you. You know, you be nice. Because, you know, the word of God say, you don't fight evil with evil.
With her mother's unwavering support and guidance, Elise Gayon traded in her farm girl attire for high heels and full-on glam as she embarked on her journey to becoming Miss World Belize late last year. A journey that has unraveled new layers of herself and that she credits to God.
If I'm to be quite open, there were some days where I had to kind of really think about my mental health, because I think maybe I was not enough for this. And maybe I shouldn't be here for this if I'm not enough. And then, you know, with prayers, and I sit down and I think, and I pray to God and I ask Him His advice as well. And what I've come to as a solution is that it's not that I was not enough. I am always enough. I am more than enough. However, there is always room to grow. God aligned everything. I have to say that, because, you know, you would hit bumps if it's something that you weren't quite sure you wanted to do. But everything came so easy. Like, people were just there to help, and people were there to encourage both her and me, because there are some days where I'm like, I don't know. And then there are some days that she's like, I don't know, it's a bit too much. But, you know, the encouragement is always there. And like I said, the path was just so easy, and I have to give God thanks for that.
With her new platform, Elise Gayon advocates for all things agriculture, a passion that has been brewing within her from her early years.
I had a little calf named Miracle, and he was not supposed to be born just like me, and so I loved that little calf, and I bottle fed him. And it was in the little moments like that I started to build my passion. Seeing how much my grandparents love what they did also helped me to build my passion, because they were side by side and they would be working out here, and it just showed how much they love what they did. And I guess seeing all of this just built my passion, and now having my mom by my side and we're working together, it makes it something special to me. My platform is a reflection of my life and of my lifestyle. So I did not only choose my platform because I had to represent something. I chose something that I wanted to represent, something that I loved and that I'm passionate about, something that is a part of my soul that I would be sharing with the world, and that is what agriculture is for me. And being able to use agriculture to help my society grow is something that I find important. And so agriculture is my platform. However, I want to use agriculture to better our society and our economy. So something that I've done through agriculture and through my farm is to help Dara's feeding program. So I would donate a couple ducks, a couple chickens, maybe some eggs to Dara's feeding program, and he would use that to either grow for his farm or to feed the kids. So it's a direct line. using my platform, I want to inspire others to be able to have that same relationship. That way, we're not only making a profit from what we have, but we're also helping those in need. We're helping kids who are hungry. We're helping the elderly who does not have enough to buy a warm plate of food. And this is the power that agriculture have, because agriculture is food.
In tandem with fully embracing farm life, she has even stepped out of her comfort zone in becoming certified in beekeeping and diving, which continues to fuel her transformation. And she encourages others to have enough courage to do the same.
Step out of your comfort zone and do something new. I have never been afraid to do that. I have become a certified beekeeper, although so many people have told me, how are you going to deal with bees? Bees are scary, killer bees this, and you know, they have so many things to say, as people will. They will always have something to say. But you can't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. So I've stepped out to be a certified beekeeper, to be a certified open water diver, and I have been deadly afraid of water for as long as I could remember. And I was afraid of drowning, and that was a hard challenge to overcome while learning. And thank God I had a very patient teacher with me. But I overcame it because I decided I'm going to complete this, same as I decided with pageantry. I am going to complete this, even though it is not something that I'm used to. I'm not used to doing all these things that I have to learn for pageantry. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Make that jump, make that decision.
You will never know what you're capable of doing. And the challenges are always so, for me, it's exciting. I mean, if you say, you know what, I go do this, you know, and you get to do it, you're like, wow, okay, I did it, you know. So
it helps you grow as a person as well. I mean,
yeah.
I've grown so much from the person I was last year. And last year, I decided to go up for politics even. I'm 21 now, so at 20 years old, I decided that I wanted to be a voice for the youth in my community. And even that, I wasn't afraid to step out and learn that I too have a voice, and to teach others that you have a voice to speak out. And in all these things, I was never afraid to fail. And stepping out of your comfort zone might put that mentality that, oh, what if I fail? What will people think of me? But I was never afraid to fail because failure helps you to grow. You can only learn to expand in yourself and to step into something new again with even more qualities than you had before.
Elise Vernon attributes her many successes to the bond she shares with her mother. There is certainly no love like that of a mother, and this mother-daughter duo shares the importance of nurturing that relationship and how it can be achieved.
You have to remember that your mom is living for the first time just like you. That this is her first experience at this age, in this moment, with a child at this age. She's never done that before, just as how I have never been in this position where I am at before. And I think thinking about that and thinking more about how she feels as well allows you to nurture that relationship, because you're not only thinking about yourself or how you feel in this moment or why doesn't she understand me, but you're trying to understand her as well, and maybe build a relationship where you could find compromises and meet in the middle, and I think that helps a lot.
Communication, but communication could go so deep, because communication is not just me and you communicating. It's me stopping, listening, hearing what you're saying, you stopping and listening, hearing what I'm saying. And so that's what we have. Let your children run to you. They can't run out there, so let them run to you. Let them run to you. And in our relationship, God is our center. He's our center, I'm sorry. He's our center. He's our guidance. He's our fall too. When we feel overwhelmed or, you know, we run to Him and we get answers, we get relief, we get peace.
A farmer, a beekeeper, and an aspiring veterinary technician, Miss World Belize 2022 Elise Vernon continues to transform into the best version of herself. To follow her journey to the international stage and to show her your support, you can follow her personal social media accounts and the ILS Phoenix Foundation pages. Tune in next Tuesday for another Transformative Living. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Have a great day, Belize.
Wow, that was a lot. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know about you, but this was also our first time viewing this week's Transformative Living as well. Of course, you saw the story of Elise Vernon, from farm life to pageant girl. And I have to say, Gavin, that there were so many gems in that Transformative Living piece. I mean, from the humble beginnings of their lifestyle to the relationship that she has with her mother that is so, so important. And obviously, I would say one of the big parts that has shaped her to be the young lady that she is now, but also to her aspirations. We kind of touched on just going forward in our eye-opener this morning, and I think Elise is a perfect example of that. Yep. She's pretty much tried everything. I mean, a lot of things I would never try at that.
No, absolutely. And I think it's a really inspiring story that she has. And I think that a lot of people can sometimes talk about, let's say, or question the relevance of pageants and stuff, especially in this day and age. But I think that what it really shows is that it's a good example of
it's a great example of
it's a great example of you know, what young people and young women can do with ambition and drive, because I certainly was extremely impressed by all of the other things that she was able to do, you know, starting with just working on a farm, because you know that, as you could see from the video, it's physical, it's hard labor, so that's just the starting point, but we see that her ambition extends way beyond that, you know, to getting involved in, from her schoolwork to politics to
beekeeping.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of courage.
I would never, I mean, beekeeping to me looks really, really scary. And I mean, I have to say kudos to Annalyn as well for getting out there in the field and really being a part of that experience with Elise. So I have so much respect for Elise, for her mother as well. I also want to point out a gem for me that really stuck with me. Of course, she was talking about the relationship with her mother, but she said that something that she tries to remember is that this is her mother's age for the first time as well. And it's also the first time that she's interacting with her child at this age too. So both of them are sharing that first time experience, and it really allows them to have a better understanding of each other and to perhaps come to compromises more easily, because they're trying to adjust to whatever normal they're living at this time, you know, whatever age her mother is at, and of course whatever age Elise is at as well. For me, that was a gem. I think it really allows us to appreciate our parents more and the support that we have with them here. We only have them for so long. And Elise and her mother seems to have a really great relationship. And it's really that support that I think is so important, taking on a big step like pageantry. You know, she has given us examples of ways that she has shown no fear, from, you know, working in a farm to being a beekeeper to being a politician and even diving. But I'll tell you, pageantry is really hard too, Gavin. Taking on a stage and being in front of thousands of people, whether it's, you know, physically or through social media. People, you're putting yourself in front of people to be criticized. Yep. And that's not something that anyone can really prepare themselves for. Absolutely. You know, while it's happening, you just have to find ways to hold on to your support even tighter. Elise alluded to the fact that her mother is a support in that. And of course, her mother also mentioned that they have God as their center of that as well, where they lean on their religious beliefs to have comfort in times where it's needed. So I think she has such a unique story, and I can't wait to see how Elise does on the big Miss World stage. She's currently Miss World Belize, and I mean, she's definitely one of my favorite ones so far, just because of her story.
No, absolutely, and I really love her platform as well, and I love how she explained it as being a reflection of her life.
Yeah.
Which, as we clearly saw, is something that she lives on a daily basis, but it also underscores the importance of having a young advocate for that area, and we see also the ways in which she was able to help the community by doing food donations and assisting with Dara's feeding program.
Yeah.
So we see that she also has a mind to give back and to be a positive member of the community, and I think that she's just a really great example for young people in general to see how they can be involved and really try to have a positive impact. So I think that she has a very unique story, very inspiring, and I think that that should stand her in good stead when she does compete. And we know that she's got the strength to definitely, because pageants also, it's not just about the one night. There's a whole lot that leads into it, and a lot of dedication that she clearly has. So I definitely want to wish her the best of luck when she does go on to compete.
Perfectly said. Of course, I as you mentioned, I can't wait to see how she performs on that Miss World stage. I can't wait. I think she has an exceptional story. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect investment services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why investment services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Noting the increasing demands for primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare across the country, our administration has focused heavily on providing the delivery of healthcare services to Belizeans. As such, since coming to office, we have consistently expanded the delivery of primary care services through NHI. As you may recall, that it is in this financial year that the entire district of Orange Walk is for the first time being brought in with NHI. Increasing access to up to 40,000 Orange Walkenians. The year before, with the same budget that the UDP was using in Corozal for a small portion of the district, we expanded the full coverage of NHI in the Corozal district. So presently, we have almost 270,000 people that is going to be covered.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Welcome back, and we're wrapping things up. And of course, we had a great show this morning, Gavin.
Yes,
we
did.
started things off with conversations with the EU ambassador, talking about, our relationship as Belize with the European Union, projects that were underway over the weekend. We had EU in the Park. Of course, bilateral discussions. There was a meeting yesterday with the PM, the Deputy PM, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And also just what the relationship means to Belize. I really appreciated that conversation particularly.
No, absolutely. And then in our second conversation, we were joined by representatives from Samsung. They were talking to us all about the 2023 Solve for Tomorrow contest. And that's a really interesting initiative, talking about, targeting high school aged children to get involved in or to submit an idea for a project that will solve a problem in society through STEM. I think it's really great to see these types of programs. And if you're watching, they mentioned that this year is the first year that they are including Belize in the competition. It's a regional competition, so it's going to be pretty tough and fierce. But I think that at the end of the day, what is the most exciting thing is to see all of the ideas that the young people will be bringing to the table.
Gav, during that segment, I was trying to think to myself, Sabrina, what's a problem that you think you could solve? And I really couldn't come up with one, at least at that moment. I might have to think about it further, but I mean, I have to say, if there's any young person that could come up with a solution to a problem, that on its own is impressive. So I can't wait to see what we submit here in Belize. Of course, win or lose, I think that's already a win for us to even come up with a solution.
Yep.
And of course, we wrap things up with our Transformative Living segment. We had an interesting story of a young girl. You met Elise Vernon, who has a background in farm life. She's an all-arounder. She does farm work, she's a beekeeper, she dives, she's a politician, and she has aspirations to also be a vet. We have seen her in all forms during that transformative living, but she also has aspirations of being the next Miss World. So I'm really excited to see what she does with her platform. Of course, her platform is agriculture, and she uses her background to advocate for the topic of agriculture and give back to persons in need as well. So I'm really excited to see what she does with that. and of course to encourage other young people as well to be a part of change. You can find one small thing and just work on it. But of course, we're wrapping things up. We don't have any birthday shout outs this morning, but we want to say happy birthday to whoever is celebrating a birthday. And if you have any questions or concerns, or you'd like to give a birthday shout out, you can do so via email at oye@channel5belize.com.
You can also find us on our social media pages on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, and you can also follow us on Instagram at OIE-Belize.
Yes, and of course, we want to invite you to join us again tomorrow where you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
Have a great one, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.